Guess who the first person on the live is? Anirudh. You get 100 points.
Anirudh.
Hi Stardust. Hi Padmasari. Hi Varun. And he is so excited because he won't read by himself these days. So he's like, "Chalo, tum hi padh ke suna do." Can you guys hear me? I'm just gonna wait for a few more people to join. Can you guys hear me? I feel like I'm waiting for like a magic number and then we'll get started. Alright then. Hi Yash. Oh, awesome. I will handle this. Okay, I'm just waiting for the lucky number, which is 13, and there are 13 people on this live now, so I'm just gonna get started. Guys, there's a questions button below, so if you're interested to ask me any questions, because I know everything, you can ask the question and then I'll read it out. If you're so interested, if you were so inclined, you can also send me a request. Hi Sneha. You can send me a request and join this live and we can talk about the book, your experience. It doesn't necessarily have to be about the book that I'm going to talk about today. It can also be about, hi Preeti. It can also just be about your experiences with reading, if you like reading. If you don't like reading, then why don't you like it? I would like to be given the opportunity to change your mind. Okay, so we're going to get started. Alright, so the book that we're going to talk about today is one of my favorites, and it is this one. Oh, I think you guys are seeing a mirror image, but that's okay. This is Trevor Noah's Born a Crime, and apart from it having been written by somebody who's a highly acclaimed comedian, just an all-round philanthropist, and somebody who's just so great at expressing himself, I think what's amazing is that he's really good at writing. So, okay, so whoever doesn't know Trevor Noah, anyway, we're going to be talking about him in the book because in this live, because it is his autobiography. If you don't know about him, he started off as a stand-up comedian in South Africa and he did a lot of political content. Should I keep holding this? Probably not. I'll bring it back time to time. But he started off doing a lot of political content if you see his earlier work. And that really worked for him, and his dream was to go perform in America, and then he did go to America, and then he was a sensation there, and then he traveled back and forth. Later on, Jon Stewart, the man himself, asked him to become a correspondent on The Daily Show, which was huge. And then when Jon Stewart decided to retire, he actually named him his successor. So as of today, Trevor Noah is the main host of The Daily Show. That's a crazy journey. And if you've read Born a Crime, then you know how that is nothing compared to the actual story that came before, because that's what he talks about. It's the phase of his life before he got into comedy, right? So how we're going to do this is I'm going to break this down for you. So first of all, for any book club review that we're going to do, I'm first going to talk about the style of writing. Okay, then I'm going to give you a basic introduction. I will set the context. Then I'll tell you guys the general storyline. Then key takeaways, general, and then key takeaways like personal that I felt when I read this book. Okay, so to give you guys context about the style of writing, it is non-fiction. However, it is human storytelling. Okay, so it's human stories with a lot of historical relevant context before every story. To sum it up, it's a coming of age story about this boy who navigated through his life in a very dangerous country in a very difficult time, right? Because this was in the twilight years of apartheid. And I will get to what apartheid is soon. But what you should know about his style of writing is that at times it's really funny, it's dramatic, you might even, cry. Whether it's talking about, oh, we had caterpillars for dinner because we didn't have food. Or to talking about literally opening the book with, I was thrown out of a moving bus when I was 10 years old. And then my mother, carrying my baby brother, threw herself off that moving bus right after me because they were being kidnapped, and she obviously didn't want to get kidnapped and brutalized, and she had 2 young children with her. So from that to talking about the life and death perils of high school dating, everything just seamlessly ties together. And if you're not a big fan of non-fiction like me, you should still give this a go, because you will learn so much about the history of South Africa through the eyes of a young boy who was struggling to live in that time, right? Okay, so first of all, let me give you, yes, Neha, you should order this book. It is amazing. And also, I have a hard copy which I stole from my sister. But, I mean, you definitely should buy this book. It is amazing. So, quickly to give you context, so do you guys know what apartheid is? Was? Give me like a heart or a wave or a thumbs up or like whatever. If you know what apartheid was. Disha, you're halfway through the book and you're afraid of spoilers. Dude, but it happened in real life, so it's not, I mean, it's not a spoiler if it really happened. And it's not about what happened, it's the way that he narrates how it happened. And that's just beautiful, but also hilarious. So I don't think there will be any, there might be some spoilers in this, Disha. You might want to log off. I'll tell you when to log off this live. When I get to the part where there might be a spoiler. Oh, you guys have read this book. Okay. Okay, cool. So, and you know what apartheid is. Right. Okay, so apartheid basically is a system of legislation that existed for the better part of 50 years in South Africa. It was basically that black people, colored people, and mixed people had to stay away from white people. So, when the National Party came into power in 1948, they started implementing all of these rules and laws, and they started segregating land. So they were like, white people are going to live separately, and everybody who's not white is going to live separately. And there will be no interaction between the two, limited. So there aren't many roads that connect the two. And the only roads that connect people are like guarded, watched over, and the only time a non-white person can travel is if they have a pass to say, oh, I'm going to the white area, or I'm stepping out of my containment zone because I have work, because non-white people were called over to cook, to clean, to be nannies for them, right? So that is the only reason they had those roads even connected. Now the split was, there's white, there's black or the Bantu, there's colored, which is like mixed, and then later on they added Asians, which was Indians and Pakistanis. The next step was they took 80% of the land and gave it to white people. They forced a lot of non-white people to sell their land for cheap or for free, pushing them into containment zones, for generation on generation forcing them into poverty and desperation, right? So it's a pretty shitty kind of space. But what they promoted to the rest of the world was that this works. This is what we need for prosperity and progress and happiness and peace in South Africa. And it was something that across the world people were not okay with, but this is what continued for the better part of half a century, right? That's the context of apartheid. Now coming back to the book, it is called Born a Crime. It's called Born a Crime because Trevor's mother is a Xhosa woman. It's a click sound, so she's a Xhosa woman. I'm not going to keep clicking, I'm just going to say Xhosa. She's a Xhosa black woman, and his father is a white man, a Swiss white man. For them to interact was illegal, but so obviously sexual relations were a complete no-no, and yet they had this child, they were in a relationship together. They obviously couldn't get married. They had to keep the fact that they were in a relationship a secret. So his mother would pretend to be his dad's maid. So she would pose as a maid just so that she could spend time with him. And then when Trevor was born, every weekend they would go to the park and they would hang out together. And she would walk at the back, and behind them, a distance away. And what they'd done was that his father had hired a mixed race woman to pose as Trevor's mother. So it was just really weird growing up. So imagine you go and hang with your parents in the park, and there is your father, you're holding your hands with your dad. There's a random woman you don't know but who has a similar skin tone to you because she's mixed. She's holding your hand and walking with you, while your real mother trails behind pretending to be a servant, right? So that is the kind of space that he lived in. And if you want to know the storyline, I think you guys should read the book. If we have time, I'll get into the storyline. It's about his hustle, how he lived in an abusive household because his mother got married to somebody else later on, how he has half brothers, none of whom look like him. His stepfather later on became abusive, he turned into an alcoholic, and it was dangerous for them to live with him. They separated, very complicated. He came back into their lives because he wanted to shoot his mother, and he shot her in the hip and he shot her in the head. But what happened later, I will not say because I don't want to give any spoilers. So please read this book. There's also an audiobook version of it if you want to know the story but you don't really want to read it. And it is narrated by Trevor himself. So I think that's like the best way to, fall asleep, let's say, every day. I'm going to discuss the key takeaways in a bit, but I just want to I'm going to add Preeti to my live. Let's see what Preeti has to say. Let's wait for Preeti to join. Meanwhile, isn't he so smart and intelligent and poetic? Waiting for Preeti to join. It still says that it's connecting. Preeti, are you there? Should I try again? I'm going to try to add Preeti again. Let's ask Preeti what her key takeaways were from this book. Oh, but... Okay. Is there anybody else who would like to join and talk about reading in general or in particular about this book and their experience? I will add you on if you send me a request. Oh, Anirudh, would you like to join? There's a guy called Anirudh. Let's just see what he has to say. Waiting for Anirudh to join this live. Can you guys still see me? Or if you have any questions, you can post them below. Rinki Reshvi, would you like to join my live? Let me just add you. Waiting for you to join. While we're waiting for Rinki to accept the request. Oh, it says that you declined, Rinki. Do you want to try again? Okay, let's see. I have a couple of requests for people to join this live that people have sent me. Join like whenever. It says that Rishabh declined as well. Anyway, moving on. Let's talk about the key takeaways, right? If you've not read this book, then this might be totally fresh. But if you have, I'm pretty sure that you will be able to relate to what I'm saying. I feel like the biggest takeaway is that life is hard, right? We all know that life is hard and it's extremely relative. I mean, I feel like each one of us goes through our own struggles and our own trials and tribulations. And whether we accept defeat or we overcome it or we learn from it and we move on, it's a unique experience for everybody. But the fact that Trevor has gone through so much struggle to the point that ghar pe khane ko nahi hai, his mother getting shot in the head, this struggle of just daily existence, not having electricity, not even always being treated as less than, is something that he has taken on with humor. And this ability to add humor into this ability to add humor into no matter what happens in life, I think that's incredible. And I feel like when I read this book, that was the biggest takeaway for me. The second big takeaway for me was the daily hustle. Personally, I've been in a corporate, comfortable job for like a really long time, and I think we have a guest. Hi, Abu, can you hear me? Abu, we can't see you.
Yes, ma'am. Can you hear me?
I can hear you a little bit, yeah, but we can't see you.
Network problem.
Hang on. We can't see you. Sorry. No, I can't get this. Rishabh, are you there? We're waiting for Rishabh to join. Yeah, anyway, coming back to the takeaways. So I think that was the number one takeaway for me. The second one was the daily hustle. He lived a life of lack and decided that every single day he was going to get up and make a difference. So the fact that he was in lack didn't drag him down. In fact, it pushed him to do better, to do more, right? So this guy in school, there's a whole chapter about how he started this lunch delivery business. Because in school, he was always an outsider. Black kids couldn't relate to him because of the color of his skin. White kids definitely could not relate to him because of the color of his skin. So he was always somebody who was an alien to both sides. And he just wanted to belong. That's all he wanted. Hi, Rishabh. What's up?
Hi, Tanushree.
Hi. Would you like to tell our audience a little bit about yourself before we get into it?
So, hi guys, I'm Rishabh. So, I just finished studying my BBA from Christ University. So, yeah, I just started reading from this lockdown period. Like, I've never read a lot in my life. So, yeah, I came across this live session. And thanks for doing this, Tanushree.
Anytime, Rishabh.
So, I had one question for you. So, I've been listening to this live session and it's really interesting. And the story seems really good. So, I just wanted to know, like, since I've not been reading from very long time, if this is a good suggested read for beginners to read.
Okay, that's a really good question. And I'll tell you what. The idea is, I believe that the idea for reading is there are two kinds of readers, right? One is like me, bachpan se, just been obsessively reading, just want to read stories or let's say non-fiction. The other set of people are people who are like, I want to be a well-read person. I want to know more and I'd like to learn through stories and not just like, let's say, Wikipedia links or just through research. And then there is another set of people actually who are trying to answer exams and they really want to improve whatever language. It doesn't have to be English. Like you're trying to improve the English language since we're talking about an English book I'll stick to English. So they're trying to improve their English. So depending on what your agenda is for reading, if it doesn't come naturally to you, then be very clear about why you want to read. Is it to improve English? Is it to learn more stories, etc., etc.? You want simple language stuff given to you. You decide that. If you want to just get started and figure out if you love reading or not, this book I think is actually perfect. I usually suggest this book, which is Born a Crime by Trevor. And I also suggest this book called The Inscrutable Americans, which again, you'll find on Amazon. These are two books that I feel the language is simple, it's really funny, and it's back-to-back stories, right? But the language is good. So you can use simple English language and yet construct it beautifully. So it's still good for you, right? Like there are certain authors that I'm not going to mention right now. We can discuss it maybe offline. Whose language is simple, but it's also not improving your vocabulary or your mind in any way, right? So I think this is a great place to start if you don't like reading. If you want to read something which is really fun and funny, but also want to improve your vocabulary, especially for answering exams, then you should read books written by P.G. Wodehouse. Anything with Jeeves in the title. It'll be funny. The language, you might need to sit with a thesaurus for it, which is easy these days because we have it on our phones. and you should do it. Lalitesh, the name of the books that I said was Born a Crime by Trevor Noah. This is non-fiction. Fiction mein there is The Inscrutable Americans. It is really funny and really good language as well. Oh, we lost Rishabh. Thank you so much, Rishabh, for your wonderful question. And then the third book that I said was P.G. Wodehouse. Any book written by P.G. Wodehouse, and you're good to go. If anybody else wants to discuss the book with me and join this live and also get a free shout out, please send me a request. But meanwhile, I'm going to go on to the next key takeaway, general takeaway that I found in this book. There's this line in the book where Trevor says, why do I need to keep growing? I want comfort. So why do I keep needing to raise the bar for that comfort that I want to achieve? He says one thing. He says comfort can be a really dangerous thing because it may provide you a floor, but then it also gives you a ceiling. So when you have too much comfort, you can become complacent. So apply that to like anything in life, right? So I thought that was a very important learning, that never rest on your laurels. Whatever you do, you need to be aware that constantly you should be raising the bar, right? For like anything in life. Another important takeaway that I found was that Trevor talks a lot about apartheid, right? Because he grew up just as apartheid was ending. And then when freedom came in South Africa, it was a tumultuous time, right? Because suddenly there were all these non-white people that had never seen this life, had never seen that, oh, I can go out and be a free man, be a free woman, be a free child, right? Like Trevor literally was born a crime because he wasn't supposed to exist. They kept him hidden indoors because if cops saw him, found him, his parents would be punished and put into jail. So that's the kind of life that people lived for half a century, and suddenly they got all this freedom. There was a lot of crime, there was a lot of looting, there was a lot of within smaller communities infighting. It was a crazy time, right? Which is also why, by the way, side note, if you want to learn about these things about another country like South Africa, this is a great book to pick, because it's not through stories you're going to learn all of these different laws that were passed and the sequence of how things went from bad to worse to better to worse, like the entire sine wave, so to speak, right? So when apartheid was in place, there was a whole freedom movement, right? And this, you're welcome, Rishabh. Yes, please do. So yeah, coming back to apartheid, a lot of struggle leaders were imprisoned, right? Nelson Mandela was in prison for so long, right? A lot of the freedom fighters were in prison, and they were all men. So Trevor talks about how it was the women, the African, black, and colored and mixed race women who held that movement together. They were not the ones in jail. They were holding it together. They ensured that the movement kept going forward as planned. And he talks about how he grew up in a matriarchal society where around him, all that he's seen is that women, to him, were the most dangerous freedom fighters in existence. And I thought that was incredible. Like, look it up. Winnie Mandela, everybody knows, yes, Nelson Mandela, but like, yeah, he was in jail, he's the man, but the police were actually afraid of Winnie Mandela and what she could do and the kind of forces that she could summon and get shit done. So I thought that was just amazing to see, because I feel like feminism across the world has, in different phases, seen different growths and different, I don't know, faces, right? So it was really interesting. I did not know this about South Africa, and I thought that was pretty awesome. And I feel like a personal takeaway for me, I'll get to that. But does anybody want to join my live? I'm sorry, I feel like people have sent me requests and I should accept those requests. But yeah. Okay, we're waiting for somebody to join the live. but I'll just quickly tell you about my personal takeaway. So, for those of you who don't know me, hi, I'm Tanushree. But I grew up in many different places, and I've been to many different schools in different countries, so to speak. And I learned Hindi very late in life. I learned English because I moved abroad, and then I came back, and then I learned Hindi again. And it was complicated, and my accent was all over the place. And ultimately, as a kid, I just wanted to belong. And for me, that experience was through language, because I felt like if I can speak like the person who's speaking to me, then I won't seem so much of an alien. Because I look Indian, I am Indian, but the minute I start speaking, I used to feel alienated and I felt like I didn't belong because I didn't have this shared experience in history. So Trevor talks about the beauty and importance of language, right? I'm just going to read it out. I've written that down. But he says that I became a chameleon. My color didn't change, but I could change your perception of my color. I will repeat that. I became a chameleon. My color didn't change, but I could change your perception of my color. If you spoke Zulu, I replied to you in Zulu. If you spoke to me in Swana, I replied to you in Swana. Maybe I didn't look like you, but if I spoke like you, I was you. And I think that by far is my favoriteest quote in this book. I just felt like that spoke to me directly, you know? And I feel like people, not necessarily who've had my experience, but people who've moved cities or moved from even one school to another in Bangalore, right? For example, you have a different style of speaking, you have a different accent. You want to do everything that it would take for you to belong. And so subconsciously as kids, we start becoming chameleons and we start adapting very quickly to things. And I feel like as adults, we don't do that so much anymore. So I think there are two things, right? One is staying true to who you are, but also doing whatever it takes to be comfortable in any environment. And I think that Trevor, please read this book and read the chapter that this particular quote is in. He explains it beautifully. He talks about how, irrespective of where you are in life, you want to think about today. And you'll do anything in your power to make today comfortable. And he talks about how language is difficult to learn, all of that. Accent's difficult to learn. But if you can figure out a way to get into somebody's language or accent, then you're already in their culture. You're already one of their own, right? Think about it. If you go somewhere, even if somebody is speaking to you in broken Hindi or broken Kannada or broken Tamil or broken whatever, right? What does it say to you? It says this person is trying. This person is trying to break this barrier that exists between us. And I think that's a beautiful way to make connections. At least try. Have pride in your language, sure. But just, keep learning, keep trying. I'm going to add, I'm going to add Bhargav. Bhargav, are you still there? Banged.lore. I'm all of this that you described, but I lack an earplug. Else I would have joined in and described all the accents that I know. You don't need earphones. I'm not using earphones. Would you need them? Hang on. Bhargav, are you there? Okay, wait. Banged.lore. Send me a request. Let's add you. Oh, you already have. Jinso Joseph Parakal. I hope I pronounced that right. Are you not going to join?
This is going to be really weird because I'm on the road.
Do you care though?
Hi.
Hi, Joseph.
Audible?
Right? Joseph, can you hear me?
Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible. Your name is Joseph,
Oh,
right?
okay. Jinso, yes, Jinso.
Jinso. Oh, Jinso Joseph. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So, first of all, hi. Welcome to Masterlife's Book Club, episode 1. So nice of you to join, even though you're in the middle of the road. I hope you're being safe.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I am around no one, so that's okay.
Okay. What city are you in? Oh, are you in Bangalore?
I'm in Bangalore, yeah.
Oh, okay, okay. So, high
I
five.
was. I usually people ask me where I'm from. I say I was raised in and by Bangalore.
Okay. But where are
And
you actually? You're from Kerala, right?
yeah, my parents are from there.
Okay.
I
So,
was
how
born and
many
raised. I
languages?
was born basically there, but
Okay.
I was raised here.
What part of Kerala?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that part.
What part of Kerala?
From Trishur.
You're from Trishur. There's a song about that, right?
Kanda,
I
Nyanum
love that.
Vara. Yeah,
Okay.
that's
So,
the
how
song.
many languages can you speak? Tell us. First of all, languages.
I'll start off with the ones that I'm not really good with.
Yeah.
I'm not really good with Telugu, but I really understand. I follow what people talk.
Okay.
And then I like trying and understanding Arabic because I was in the Gulf for 2 years.
Okay.
So I speak the bare minimum. Like I know numbers.
Okay.
Like if you want me to count, I just love counting Arabic numbers from 1 to 10
Please,
or more than that.
please go for it. Go for it.
So it's Wahid, Snain, Talasa, Arba, Hamsa, Sit, Saba, Samania, Tissa, Ashra. So that is 1 to 10.
Okay. That's
And
amazing.
then we have Wahidash, Snash, Talatash, Sabatash. I'm sorry.
Oh, you frozen. Are you there? Can you guys hear him? Please comment if you can hear him. Can you hear him? Can you hear me?
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Am I still on or is somebody else on?
That's okay. I was about to
Okay.
cancel. Yeah. So we heard your counting. Okay, great. So that's Arabic. You obviously know Malayalam, I'm guessing.
I can't hear you now.
Oh. Can you hear me now? Oh no. Okay, I'm gonna have to cancel this. I'll cut.
I think I'll just leave and join back. I'll try getting my earplugs. This is going to be.
Okay. Okay, awesome. Okay, that was pretty cool. He could count in Arabic. I did not expect that. I thought he'd talk about, Malayalam, Tamil, Telugu, English, Hindi, Kannada. But, oh, he started with Arabic, which is pretty cool. So maybe we'll get him on again. But coming back to the takeaway, this lesson that Trevor talks about in the book, it's about this need to belong and doing whatever it takes to make that happen. So I'll ask you, when have you felt like you didn't belong? It doesn't have to be because of language. It can be because of anything. So when have you felt that you don't belong? And then what did you do to overcome this barrier? I mean, you can comment that and then we can discuss it. Kemcho, hi Parth from Gujarat. Tell me. Okay, I think everybody's just really shy. Another religion. So you were hanging out with people who were from a different religion and you felt like you didn't belong? The_life_explorer. Is that what happened? And if that is what happened, then what did you do? While I'm waiting for you to type your answer. Okay. Okay, so we'll wait for you to yeah. It doesn't and it shouldn't matter at all. But maybe when you were a kid, you were hanging out with people who spoke in a different language and you felt like, oh, I don't belong. How did you do that? I feel like how I do it is also through imitating accents, and I also do it through food. I just feed people. So I'll just take chocolates to school, and then everybody wants to, like, at least that's your foot in the door, right? You end up starting a conversation, and then from there, then you take it as it comes. By learning their habits and involving with them. That's wonderful. Yeah. Just like the more you keep learning, right? Like, we are only limited by our own imagination and by our own knowledge. So yeah, sure. I am going to end this live now because I've discussed this book, and anything else beyond this is going to be a spoiler. So Mr. Botard, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, says it's a better opportunity to know other religions. So never miss that opportunity. Exactly, right? Anybody so much to teach you, or so much you could learn from. So yeah, but I'm going to end this live, and I will come back soon with another book, and hopefully you guys will join again, and more of you can join in with me, and we can discuss the book. So I will put out a post earlier to tell you about what that book is, so you guys can prep, and then maybe join me, and like we can have a conversation, or you can just comment if you're feeling shy. So that's also okay. So before I go, I would like to close with how I think the reason this book is so amazing is because you know how we all feel like अपने movie में हम hero हैं? Because like देखो, मेरी life की story में I am the protagonist, right? I'm the main person in my story, and for you, you're the main person in your story, and that's just how it works. Everybody else is like supporting role, whatever. So I think this book, I mean, that's something that we all know in general, but I feel like this book really drove that idea home that each one of us, even if we come from very similar environments or the same home, like siblings, right? Each one of us has our own journey. Each one of us has our own demons. Each one of us has our own issues that we need to unbox and unpack. And that is our journey to take. And since we are the hero or heroine of our story, it's on us to decide how that goes. And I think that has been beautifully portrayed. To going from a village in South Africa to not having food to now being one of the most celebrated comedians in the world. I think his story is inspirational. And also, whether or not he achieved that level of success, the fact that for him, it was to keep growing as a person, the daily hustle. I will learn a new thing today. I will put bread on the table. And I think that daily hustle is something that we can learn from, and we all should kind of focus on. So even if you have a comfortable job and a comfortable salary, figure out your side hustle. Always figure out your side hustle, because that's something that's going to keep you constantly ticking. So I think Anil is like, apni life mein to main hero hu hi. Ankit, do you know Hindi? Yes, I do know Hindi. I speak Hindi. My vocabulary isn't that great, lekin काफी ठीक ठाक मैं बोल लेती हूँ. So now I can speak Hindi. Hi. So now I can speak Hindi, but that's again something that I've learned and I've practiced. I've copied other people's accents, and so now I can do the different North Indian, UP, Bihari accents I can do. But it's been a struggle. But again, right? If you want to do something, you can do it. Right? So anyway, in closing, oh, somebody asked me a question. Oh, Ankit said, do you know Hindi? Okay, I responded to that. So in conclusion, check this out. It's pretty awesome. I'm sorry it's a mirror image, but this is Trevor Noah's Born a Crime, because he was literally born a crime. Check this out. It's very simple, easy to understand English, beautiful stories. It's basically about somebody who's living in a difficult and dangerous time and how he overcomes all of that. And it's funny. So do check it out. And again, if there are other life skills that you want to pick up, like building your confidence or figuring out your EQ, ki scene kya chal raha hai dimag mein? Am I managing my emotions well? Am I managing my relationships well? I'm single, I'm bad at dating, I want to find a partner, life partner, or someone to date. I want to work on my mental health. I want to become a great public speaker. if you want to pick up on these kind of life skills जो शायद स्कूल में नहीं सिखाते, शायद क्या स्कूल में नहीं सिखाते हैं, but if you want to pick up something like that, then there's always Masterlife, which is the channel that I've gone live from. You can go to the website, you can check out the different courses, and if you feel like जिंदगी में मुझे यहाँ मचाना है और मुझे चाहिए कि nothing holds me back, right? So there's education जो तो मिला ही है स्कूल से, यूनिवर्सिटी से, कॉलेज से, but personally I don't want my mind to hold me back. There are many ways that you can improve, but Ankit says mindset ही सब कुछ है, exactly, right? So if you feel like you have that mindset that you want to constantly perform high, right? If you want to have a high performance mindset, you want to be happy all the time. देखो ये सब skills हैं, right? So a skill can be picked up, it can be learned, and it can be incorporated into your life कि वो जिंदगी भर तुम्हारे साथ रहे. Happiness is also a skill. It's a state of mind, but it's also a skill, right? So, I mean, get to it. And before I close, I'll tell you that we do have a lot of courses. For example, we do have a course on developing a high performance mindset. I want to have a high performance mindset. Bol diya. Ab, what are you going to do? How are you going to make that happen? So we have a lot of experts in these fields who train professional, national level, internationally performing athletes. Athletes कैसे इतना high performance रखते हैं? Mind, body, emotions, right? तो वो जो experts हैं, we've created courses with those guys, and they will tell you exactly तुम्हारे दिमाग में क्या चल रहा है और तुम्हें क्या करना है ताकि तुम जब stressful situation में हो तो तुम मचा रहे हो, डर के भाग नहीं रहे हो, right? But it's all in training of the mind. So if you feel like that's something that you want to work on, then do check out Masterlife. Shravan says, can you tell me your free videos? Okay, so do one thing. Just handle pe main bhi hu, which is the Masterlife official handle. You can go check out the website, which is www.masterlife.in. Wahan pe you can download the app. So Android, yeah, Apple, doesn't matter. Download the app. There is a separate section jahan pe you will get free videos. And we have a couple of free videos from courses. Also, we have simple life hack videos also which are free. If you want to read book deconstructions, then within 5 to 7 minutes, पूरे book का summary, deconstruction, review सब कुछ है, वो भी पढ़ सकते हो. That's also free. So you can check all of that out on the Masterlife app. And there are some videos that are free. There are some courses that are free. So do check it out. I mean, अपने दिमाग को हाई परफॉर्मेंस तो खैर है ही, बट अपने दिमाग को सही रखना अपने ही हाथ में, बिकॉज ओनली यू नो हाउ यूर फीलिंग. कोई और तुम्हें आके नहीं बता पाएगा कि तुमको ये करना चाहिए जिंदगी में ठीक करने के लिए. यू शुड बी हैप्पी. श्योर, आई शुड बी हैप्पी, बट हाउ, राइट? सो that is something that you have to figure out on your own. At Masterlife, we can help guide you with direction. कि ठीक है, तुम ये टेस्ट आंसर करो, ये स्कोर आया, तुम्हारा मेंटल हेल्थ में थोड़ा कम स्कोर है, शायद तुम खुश नहीं हो ज्यादा. So then do this course. We can only guide you, but ultimately वो journey is yours. वो step तुमको लेना है और and we can then guide you and we can help you out. There's another Ankit Patidar. Hi. So we're just talking about improving the mind. Just, I mean, considering the lifetime that we are living in now, right? नौकरी देख लेंगे, ढूंढ लेंगे, है ना? एग्जाम के लिए तैयारी कर लेंगे. But if you're not at peak performance in your mind, then there's not much that you can do. So do check it out. It's called Masterlife, and you can download it on Apple or Google. There are courses that are available to improve the mind, to improve your personal branding. If you want to know how to style yourself, how to groom yourself. Basically, ki bhai, when I go to get a job, nobody can say no because I am the complete package, right? So, yeah. How can you describe Gujarati people? How can I describe Gujarati people, matlab? Like, from my personal experience, very chill, very fun, very sweet, very, Actually, all the Gujaratis that I know are really awesome. Very kind, very talented also. Like कोई ना कोई talent या skill तो होगा ही. कि like अच्छा गाते हैं, अच्छा dance करते हैं, अच्छा poetry लिखते हैं. At least in my experience, they've all been like really sharp, smart people. But anyway, so before I end this live, thank you guys for joining, and I had a great time. Anytime, Shravan. And yeah, check it out. I feel like my book के बारे में शुरू की थी बात करना, but अब मैं master life पे आ गई हूँ. But yeah, we are there to guide you. So figure it out. And there's a lot of stuff that's free, so you can एक बार देख के you can see कि किस area में you want to improve your mind or improve your skills, or even if you just want to have fun, we'll teach you magic tricks. We have a 30-day course on how to learn magic tricks, which is actually pretty fun. So yeah. So that's all there is to it. Do you help me learn English? So we do have some public speaking courses as well. So we can help you with that. And you can check that out. And also, Ankit, if you want to learn English, मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि अगर simple तरीके से सीखना है ना, तो एक तो be confident, and दूसरा just read whatever. तुमको अखबार पढ़ना अच्छा लगता है, तुम अखबार पढ़ो. मुझे पसंद नहीं है अखबार पढ़ना उतना. I'd rather take my news from the internet, तो मैं नहीं पढ़ती हूँ. But take a comic book, take a story book, anything. Take Harry Potter for that matter, or start simple. Actually, पता है मैं क्या बोलूँगी? I mean, I feel like maybe because मैं इस book की बात कर रही हूँ, but इसकी language बहुत simple है. It's Trevor Noah's Born a Crime. इसकी language simple है. It's very funny. Or take an Indian writer. Just read. Rose, it's a skill. यार English speak कोई भी language. It's a skill. वो pick up कर सकते हो. तो तुम decide करो कि मैं 1 घंटा book पढ़ूंगा. ठीक है? तुम starting में पढ़ना शुरू करोगे, कई words तुमको नहीं समझ में आएंगे. जैसे मैं हिंदी जब पढ़ती हूँ, मुझे बहुत words नहीं समझ में आते. Doesn't matter. Dictionary ये सब छोड़ो पहले. 1 हफ्ता just read. 10 शब्द होंगे जो तुम्हें समझ में नहीं आएंगे. Do that for 1 week. उसके बाद अपने आप you will relate कि ये word इस sentence में आया था, इसका मतलब ये होगा. After 1 week, sit with the dictionary and then figure it out. Trust me, पहले के 2 हफ्ते बहुत मुश्किल होगा. In the 3rd week, at least तुम्हारे जहन में उतर जाएगी ये बात कि okay, English language में ये structure है. तो जब कोई गलत sentence बोलेगा, तुम immediately पकड़ लोगे. So it's a skill. हिंदी मैंने भी ऐसी सीखी है. पढ़ के पढ़ते रहो. मूवीज देखो, टीवी शोज देखो. अपने आप सुनते सुनते the human brain is a very complex thing, right? सुनते सुनते तुमको पता भी नहीं चलेगा तुमने कब सीख लिया. Shravan has failed to maintain a relationship. I am failed to maintain a relationship. Can you tell one? So we have a course on how to attract the right partner also on Masterlife, and you can check it out. क्योंकि ये भी एक skill है to figure out किसके साथ relationship में रहना है, right? और वो कब होगा? When you become the right person. तो पहले खुद को ठीक करो ना, and अपने आप people are going to gravitate towards you. Then next step. How do you attract the right partner? है ना? Decide कि first of all तुमको partner में क्या चाहिए. Then figure out तुमको अपनी personality में क्या ठीक करना है. Well, reverse that, right? And then you can then start figuring out the next steps. So yeah, that's pretty much what it is. And we will definitely do this again, probably with another book. And वो book पढ़ के आना. या नहीं भी पढ़े हो तो उसका कम से कम summary excerpt पढ़ के आना, and then we can discuss it, and you can join me in my live. My name is Tanushree. So yeah, and do check out Masterlife. We have a lot of courses, as I said, a lot of free videos. You never know कब क्या click हो जाए, what might work for you. So yeah, I feel like personally public speaking का course काफी helpful रहा है मेरे लिए, because I feel like मुझे लगता था कि हाँ I can speak in public, but then now I know from the course कि there are certain rules that need to be followed. तो अब मुझे वो tricks और tips पता है. So now I can be like, ठीक है अब मैं ऐसे practice करूँगी, तो अगली बार मुझे presentation देना होगा तो मैं ये rules follow करूँगी. So I mean ये सब simple hacks है ना यार life में, to simplify life. So you can do all that. And I will see you guys maybe next week whenever we do this book club thing again. And thank you so much for staying. Bye Ankit, bye other Ankit, bye Lalitesh. Thank you so much Rishabh for joining. I wish कि हम वो बैंगलोर वो जिनसो से बात कर पाते, but I think उसके network में problem है, इसलिए we can't talk to him. But maybe we can talk to him in the next live. Banged.lore, अगर तुम सुन रहे हो, if you're listening. Sorry that I couldn't connect with you again. We really wanted to know the rest of your story. But कोई बात नहीं, maybe in some other live soon. Okay guys, peace. Have a wonderful remaining of part of the week. Tomorrow, Masterlife पे हम एक और live कर रहे हैं with Sarita. She is a professional celebrity anchor and she is an image consultant. So she talks about styling and how to build your personal brand. तो अपना प्रोडक्ट ब्रांड अलग, खुद का ब्रांड कैसे बिल्ड करना है, शी टॉक्स अबाउट दैट. एंड उसमें भी इट्स अ स्किल. सो शी टॉक्स अबाउट ये 4 चीजें ध्यान रखो, ABCD एंड यूर सॉर्टेड. ठीक है, कपड़ों की जब बात आती है तो तुम्हें क्या ध्यान रखना है, लैंग्वेज की जब बात आती है तो तुम्हें क्या ध्यान रखना है. तो शी इज प्रीटी कूल. उनका भी कोर्स है हमारे प्लेटफॉर्म पे, बट टुमारो वी आर डूइंग अ लाइव विद हर एट द सेम टाइम एट 7. It will be hosted by our CEO and founder Anirudh Narayan. So काफी chill रहेगा. So I will see you guys maybe next week. I mean, I will not be hosting it tomorrow. So I will probably see you guys next week in the next book club session. And tomorrow Anirudh will see you maybe for the personal branding live. But thank you so much. Bye Lalitesh. And thank you guys so much for all your questions. All right. Peace.